I am so happy with how this looks for the Rangers. We have a pitcher, Jack Leiter, and he is a dude.
And while I do think his hitting is worse than Derek Jeter, it's not that far off.
You're not mentioning 2006. You can mention the other people, not 2006.
Oh, just because I bought the best soap doesn't mean your room's going to be clean. It just leaves it to where I don't believe that the Canadians had a shot.
I really don't like the Clippers just kind of sending it in when they're like...
Hi, this is Kelly Forbes with the Dallas Stars, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to an NHL Opinions of the Week. Of course, this is about Joe Pavelski. We haven't done this a lot in the show's history of talking about retirement players. We did talk about Tom Brady, but Tom Brady is the greatest of all time in the NFL, and you could argue greatest athlete of all time. But we won't dissect that here. But we're going to talk about Joe Pavelski. He's been a main focus of our channel, especially when talking about the Stars, and also the man that knows a lot more about Joe Pavelski and shares plenty of feelings about him, Austin.
Yeah, he retires still. He retired as the active leader, so he's not the active leader anymore because he's retired. But he was the active leader in playoff goals, and then obviously he's far away the lead in the U.S. for playoff goals. And it's sad he did not get a cup, and I can think of a couple of players that I have partial blame for that, but it's going to be interesting a lot going forward with the Stars, how this is rectified, because they have holes on their teams, and I don't know if they're getting filled, but we're just talking about Pavelski. Again, he basically has the same amount of playoff goals as Jamie Benn in half the games, so do with that what you will, but it was a great career, and I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of it.
Yeah, I caught a lot of it later, especially with the Stars. I remember catching him. He came on fire in the 2020 playoffs. I think he had struggled a little bit in the regular season scoring goals, but
I don't think COVID helped, but yeah.
Yeah. But the reason I wanted to do a video was he, I think, had impact on the game. He's had great careers. We've mainly talked about his career with the Stars, but he also had a fantastic career with the Sharks. And I loved in his letter he talked about the team aspect and his favorite moments for when he came back from injury and his team went far. He also mentioned some heartbreakers. But to me, kind of the team aspect and just the view of like the impact he had on the Stars, especially housing Wyatt, even a little bit of Logan Stankoven. So that to me was kind of the focus of his goodbye letter. It was a 2-page thing. I read it on Twitter. I think he did it on an Instagram post. So he was just seemed to elevate the team and was also a great player and personality, especially I think there was that interview with Pat McAfee, and that was really enlightening.
Yeah. And if we're talking about a top five, I think the greatest performance in NHL history is a 38-year-old Joe Pavelski in the first round of, or the second round of the first game of the second round against the Kraken. He had just come off of a major concussion. He is 38 years old, and he scores 4 goals. I've never seen a performance like that. It's one of the best performances I've ever seen, especially by a player who is 38. He's the oldest player to score 4 goals in a playoff game. It's still crazy. I think him losing that game is just a testament to his entire career. That's kind of how I think it went for a lot of those seasons, a lot of those teams. He was let down at times, and at times he could have played better. Kevin, the first time I watched him in person was all the way back in 2010 in the Olympics. I know we've been doing a couple Olympics videos, but in the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver, I watched him play against Norway. He got a couple assists in that game, and ever since then, he's been Captain America. So it's a player that I've kind of tied my hockey fandom to, and someone that I will forever be a fan of even after they retire.
Yeah, and I will add, talking that game was amazing with the 4-game. The 4th goal is something I want to talk about. You always harped on just the skill required for that, as he basically bunted in. Yeah, I'll let you talk about it.
Well, I am a I played hockey for over a decade, Kevin, and again, there's a lot of goals that if you give me enough tries, I could do it. Like, even if it's 1,000, a million tries, I could do it. I played hockey long enough that given me enough tries, I could do a majority of goals. Now, not every time, and like the guys in the NHL are doing it at such a high rate. That's what makes them so good. Now, if you give me 10,000 tries, sure, I get it one time, but that's a goal. It is so perfectly placed in the top left corner, basically right where the post and crossbar meet, and it is butted in while he has one leg out. It just, I don't know how. I watched it live and I don't know what happened. And then I watched the replay and that ties the game. Eventually is the goal that sent it to overtime. I don't know how you score that. And the fact that he is such a tip demon, the best tipper in my opinion of all time. People say Chris Kreider, but I definitely am a Joe Pavelski guy there. That's what made his career so long. He doesn't have to be fast. He was never fast his whole career, but he was so good around the net and he could tip anything. Anything. And I think you know that just watching the Stars the past couple seasons is there's nothing he couldn't put his stick on and eventually tip towards the goal.
Yeah, and to me, that shows just the level of focus he put into practice. A lot of Stars writers would send videos of how he would have someone shoot, and then he practiced tipping, and you could see just the results of that. And to me, that he was just such a hard worker, which he mentioned in his letter, and just the way he focused and was such a great leader for the Stars, specifically Wyatt Johnson, I would say, and also I think you can point that to the San Jose Sharks, but he's a player that we focused on, and it's sad that he's not going to be in the league. I would have loved it if he came back one more year with the Stars, but it's always going to be tough. So, kind of the first time we've doing a video about a player's retirement, and I don't think he comes back. That was a question we had in the Tom Brady video, but it's
It's funny because Tom
yeah,
Brady is still kind of a question. I remember that a couple of days ago, there was a Shannon Sharp interview with Devontae Adams, and Devontae was like, if you wanted to come back, or Shannon was about to ask, like, if Brady, and then Devontae was like, yes. It was like, let me ask the question. He's like, yes, if he came back, and Tom Brady's even hinted at it that if he may be joking, he may be, but I think either Pavelski or Brady could come back next season and still be a effective player in their league, and both of them have proven that if you take care of your body right and practice a lot, you can play for a really long time. Uh, Again, Pavelski literally was never bad in his career. He had one bad playoffs at the end, but we don't know if that was just a lot of injuries built up over the year or what it would have looked like. But he was still the second highest point getter on a team that ended number one in the West, Kevin. And you don't just do that by being washed.
yeah, no, and he had one of the best lines. It was our number one line in the hockey top 10 that we did last season, and a line near and dear to my heart. So that kind of he's I would say an important player not only to us but to the NHL. But feel free to mention this in the comments and let us know if you would like us to do more. And I think it will be fitting for you to end this episode, Austin.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Please let us know if there's another player that you guys would like us to do a retirement video about, or if they're just right now looking at their career. I appreciate a lot of people's careers and how they've gone along. I know we've done two for me. Maybe we do one for Kevin in the future if one of his favorite players retires. But thank you guys for listening, and please catch us in our next video.